Hey guys, Hybrid. And I guess other people that may or may not introduce themselves today.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, it's Oscar.
And I'm Zach.
What's up, I'm Nick.
Is that all we have today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have no CJ.
It's only
like
four of us.
Alright, well anyways, welcome to the D. Discussion. And yeah, our topic this time is minority superheroes, which, is a growing thing in comics, either by them changing characters' races, a la Wally West, or them making new characters to replace old ones, like Nick Fury or Miles Morales. So, yeah, and also there's obviously original characters that have always been around, like Cyborg, Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. He's more on the replacement side, but, I'd say Cyborg is probably the definitive DC minority hero when people think of them, especially due to his big push recently. Like, he's in Justice League now. He was a founding member. Every Justice League thing they seem to do nowadays has Cyborg in it as a member. So, dude's really made his way up. But yeah, it's a ever-growing thing, and, we're talking about it today.
Yeah, Cyborg's gonna be in a movie too. So
yeah, I think he's going to be mentioned, or he's going to have a small appearance or cameo or something, right?
Yeah.
My thought is that they're probably going to show the accident, near the end of the movie, that is the reason why he ends up becoming Cyborg. Because I feel like they don't want to have to do too much character introduction for Justice League, personally. So.
Then also we're getting a black Human Torch.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, we almost forgot about that.
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, I read a comment today, a lot of people called me racist for not agreeing that, Wally West is going to be, reintroduced in New 52, not reintroduced, introduced in the New 52 as an African American, more appropriately biracial, even though I think biracial is a bit of a cop-out, because I'm biracial. And whenever I see a biracial character who's supposed to be half black, they don't even look half black. They just look like any other, African-American male does. Like Miles Morales is biracial, but if you see him, you wouldn't be able to tell. You just think he's black. And, the real reason for that is just because of the color of, brown they use for the, skin coloring. But, moving on from that, so they're turning him, African-American. And I didn't agree with that. I thought that he was perfectly fine the way he was, redheaded Wally West, as he's always been. And I guess, disagreeing with change makes me racist.
It doesn't make you racist. It's your favorite character.
But he's not my favorite. He's my favorite Flash. But, see, and...
He's a lot of people's favorite Flash, actually.
Exactly. And, it's one of those things where people are like, well, black, African-American, kids growing up, they need more African-American characters to look up to. And to that, I'm like, DC has no excuse, though. They own Milestone Comics, and the only character they've implemented that I know of Milestone Comics into New 52 is Static, and they canceled the series after about 8 issues. So they have no excuse, they have no shortage of African-American characters, especially African-American characters like Static, like Icon, that have quite an interesting history to them. Yeah. That's not the issue. And, it's actually really interesting. Someone commented, I didn't fact check this, even though I assume if they commented it, they wouldn't just comment it, but you never know. But I guess supposedly Wally West's father was a racist. And that was a big, thing for the character because, Wally West married an Asian lady. And that was a really big thing, because he really had to deal with that with his father, that struggle. So it's interesting how that's not going to be it anymore. But, yeah, I have no problem with them changing a character's race as long as it has a somewhat purpose to it. And, by that I mean, they're just not changing it just because to change it, because then there's really no point since, it's why not just make a new character or, like, I think Marvel's doing a good job with it, because, you know, the new Miss Marvel, not replacing Carol Danvers, it's just someone
She's
using the name. Yeah, she's just using the name. She's not, like, they're not reinventing the character, so to speak. You know, actually, the character's using the name in respect to the original Miss Marvel. So
yeah,
I
she's
think
going
that's...
by... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I think that's the appropriate way to do that stuff. You know, like, they could have easily just made an African-American kid, because if they make Wally West a new Kid Flash, New 52, you know, they could have just had an African-American kid become Kid Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, they already had... Carol Danvers is the taking the name of Captain Marvel right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see a problem with her using Miss Marvel. I mean, if she's not the Miss Marvel, she's just like a continuation, like a legacy character.
Exactly. And I think that's a good thing. I think the reason why, because in the video, obviously it was like right after like I heard the news, so obviously I was a bit more like irked by it than like I am right now. But I think the real reason why, you know, me and other people were upset about it was because it didn't seem necessary, and also because, you know, the character's been that way for so long, and it's one of those things where, you know, comic books, like, if you read comic books, you're going to obviously be more into the characters more, but that's the character, you know, like, that's how the character's been portrayed since their inception, that's what the character is, and to just change it like that so dramatically, like, I think that's the biggest issue, that they changed it so dramatically like that, when people have been expecting, or not expecting, they've been waiting for that character to come back, you know? So, like, people are waiting for Wally West, they're waiting for Wally West, every Flash comic, you know, I'm sure there's people that are just looking for a redheaded kid to be Wally West, and then just to, like, have that, like, taken away, you know, so, like, unexpectedly. I think that just threw a lot of people, including myself, off. And it was like, why, you know?
Yeah, but I can understand that, because the first Wally West, I mean, actually, the first Flash I was introduced to was Wally West from the animated series.
Exactly, like, yeah, the first Wally West I was introduced to was, you know, redheaded jokester Wally West. See, I was one of those people that didn't realize that the Flash in comics at the time, when I first started reading comics, was Wally West. I still thought at first it was Barry Allen.
No, Barry Allen died in the whole crisis and all that.
Exactly, but I didn't realize that at first, and then once I realized it, I was like, oh, and, you know, I got really into the character. But I thought it was really funny, someone made a good comment, the ginger community just lost a hero today. And I was like, you know, that's right, because technically, redheads are kind of a minority, in a sense, because, you know, the gene pool for redheads has been decreasing, you know, steadily over the years. So, if anything, you'd think redheaded people need, or gingers, whatever you want to call them, you think they would need heroes more than any other minority, so to speak. Because Daredevil's really like the only one left that's a guy. All the other redheads are girls.
My dad's a redhead.
So, and he just lost a superhero today. He lost one of his own.
Well, DC did it right with Baz, though, the Green Lantern, the Muslim Green Lantern, right?
They did until they just forgot about him.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that confused me. I was like, they made such a big deal about it, such a big push for the character when he was introduced, and then after that, it's just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, well, pretty much after Jeff Johns left Green Lantern, he was pretty gone.
Yeah, that's my only problem with, like at least, you know, from Marvel at least, and obviously I'm using Marvel because they've just recently introduced, like, a new Latino Ghost Rider, a new Muslim Miss Marvel.
Reyes. I forgot his name.
Yeah, like, at least they're taking the big step here, and I think the thing DC should have done is they should have either given Baz his own Green Lantern title, or, like, at least they did stuff like put him in the new Justice League of America. But, you know, you need to do stuff like that to really give the character exposure and a push. Like the new Miss Marvel comic, that's giving the character not only push but exposure, you know?
I think he was in the JLA comic, the New 52.
No, he is. And I was saying that was a good thing that they did that. But then they just kind of... Like,
then he died, I think, or something, I don't know.
No, he was, like, captured. Because of the whole, like, Forever Evil stuff.
Yeah.
So... But, like, I think if DC... And obviously we're picking on DC the most here because they're the ones with the track record that's not so great in this department. But, you know, I understand people's argument that most of these characters are made, you know, by predominantly white writer staff during a predominantly white supporting, comic book readership, time period. I understand that. But there are characters like, Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, who has a very loyal fan base. Even though she hasn't been brought back yet, she's a very loyal fan base. And we have Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, who has a very loyal fan base as well. Those characters are examples that, you can do that. Like, Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes is basically very, very similar to the case we have going on with the new Ghost Rider. Very similar, we've had various people before use the Blue Beetle name, before Jaime Reyes, just like with Ghost Rider. They introduce, Ghost Riders or Blue Beetle, depending on, obviously, in respects to the creators. They reintroduced them as Latino characters. They did it right. They gave them a push, gave them their own series, and it took off. Like, if you ask someone about Blue Beetle, the general audience will automatically think of Jaime Reyes nowadays. They won't think about Ted Kord anymore. So that says a lot. And, Miles Morales is, a great example of that too, because he has a very loyal fan base, very big following.
Yeah.
And he's been around for a very short amount of time. So,
Yeah.
But you guys talk. Because as of right now, all the viewers are probably like, oh, here we go again. Another, Wally West rant.
Well, I think it's cool that they're gonna bring in the new Black Superman in Earth too. Like, he's coming. So
that is really cool. The only thing that I do agree with some people is like, why is his name Val-Zod? Because that's kind of like sacrilegious to Superman having Zod. But he's not related to General Zod though. That's the only thing. But
I like the name Val-Zod.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like, they haven't called him Val-Zod yet. Like, that's his official release name. They've just been calling him Val for right now, if I remember correctly. But the character is really cool. He seems to be very pacifist-like, so it's going to be interesting seeing him as Superman. Mm-hmm. But, someone made a good point. He's not African-American, but, because he's from Krypton, technically. But, obviously he's, modeled after an African-American male.
Yeah.
People are going to put him in that same pool. Just like Icon. Icon's an alien, but he's still, people call him an African-American superhero. So technically, he could have just been Icon, really. I just realized that. They could have just introduced Val-Zod as Icon and not called him Val-Zod. Like, we could have just made him Augustus Freeman. I think that's his name, Icon's name. But, yeah. But the thing with these characters, minority characters, though, is that once you introduce them, you can't really reintroduce them as a non-minority. Like, you guys can disagree with me or agree with me here, but, the new Wally West. One of the things I was trying to get across to people is that now that he's an African American, DC cannot go back on that. They can't just reintroduce Wally West anymore and him be,
No, they can retcon it, like Flashpoint it.
But they're going to get so much flack for it.
Yeah.
So, publicity-wise, it's going to be worse than just changing the character's race, because you're changing it back now from him being African-American to white, and, people are going to get really upset. Like Cyborg, they can never make Cyborg white. They can never make Cassandra Cain white. They can never make Miles Morales white. They can never make Jaime Reyes white. They can never make any non-white character white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without, backlash. That's the only negative side I see, and it kind of, I think the term is a double-edged sword with minority superheroes, because in one hand, it's great they're there, because, comics should somewhat reflect the real world and diversity, and that's one thing that the original Green Lantern comics did really well. But at the same time, it's like, once you go there, you can't go back.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's pretty cool how Luke Cage is going to get a live-action series.
Played by Jason Statham. According to my coworker really wants Jason Statham to play Luke Cage. No. And I was like, that's never going to happen, right?
Get a white guy for Black Panther.
No.
Well,
Urban.
Actually, I'm happy you brought up Black Panther, because, in his case, and this is where it gets tricky with minority superheroes. People make the argument, like, for Human Torch, race is not, in the character's blood, so to speak.
He's the sibling.
But, well, Well, I mean, like for Black Panther though, it's like for that character and like characters like Storm, for example, you know, they have that African like actual like history in them. Like Black Panther's the king of Wakanda, and you know they have that whole like there's no outsiders thing, so it'd be very unlikely for like a non-African to be there would be very unusual. You know, because of how secretive and seclusive Wakanda is from the other nations, and due to its location, like the heart of Africa, you know, it'd be really, 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 really hard to play off the Black Panther as being white, and I'm sure no one would buy it either. But you know, then like at least with the Human Torch, the thing here that I think people need to realize is just in the movie. And we've already gotten, like, you know, like the white Human Torch. So it's not as big of a deal as it would be for, like, you know, any other character. Like, it's still, you know, somewhat major. But, you know, and someone called me racist for this, but I made the point, he's going to be on fire most of the time, so you're not going to see his race, you know, when he's the actual Human Torch.
What is the big deal about his race? I mean, what point? Why would they come?
Yeah, he's a sibling. He's got to be. It doesn't make sense.
Well, it's just like, for the sibling thing, it's really easy to say they're like one's adopted, or like it seems like they're going to go the route where maybe, like a remarried kind of situation, you know?
No, it's dumb. They both have to be one.
Well, they're still going to be a family, but like my thing though is, I feel like a lot of people that disagree with this are kind of similar to my feelings on Wally West, you know?
Yeah, maybe Sue is the one that's adopted.
That's what it sounds like, because it sounds like,
because they just cast the father, didn't they?
Yeah, and he's African American. So it sounds like they're going to do a thing where either Sue Storm is adopted, or I'm thinking that maybe Sue Storm's father dies or something. Or like her biological father dies, and maybe her mom remarries. Because, you know, I thought about that because I have a friend, you know, I used to play football with, who, you know, they're white, and their stepfather is African American, and they have an African American sibling.
I would like to see that. That'd be an interesting dynamic.
Maybe they just didn't think the movie through, because like it was supposed to start shooting like last year.
Exactly.
So
yeah, but you guys keep on going. I don't want to like. I feel like I'm doing like 80% of the show right now, which is not good. But I'm trying to make up for the last one, I guess. Overcompensating.
But minority doesn't really have to be in skin color. It can also be your sexual orientation. It can also be what kind of faith or religion you have as well, because there are several heroes that doesn't share the Christian religion exactly. Like,
God bless you for saying that.
Yeah, but like there are actually a few Jewish superheroes out there who I doubt some people actually know are Jewish. Like Ben Grimm the Thing is a Jewish character.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's Jewish, and Moon Knight's Jewish. Songbird, Kitty Pryde, obviously.
Well, I thought Moon Knight was Catholic.
No, he's Jewish.
Oh,
Daredevil is Catholic. I know that.
Yeah,
he's the biggest Catholic superhero I can think of.
But then we also got the characters like Simon Baz and the new Ms. Marvel character that is Muslim, and that's actually a big step forward that they actually did a couple of characters that were Muslims, because Muslims have really been getting a bad rap the last few years since 2002.
2001, you mean?
Yeah, 2001, sorry.
Yeah, and even, like, the Green Lantern of Earth 2 right now, like, Alan Scott, like, says he's gay and all that, like, so...
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, like, that they have that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they haven't made that his characters, too. Like, they haven't been, like... In the case of, if you've been reading Teen Titans Bunker...
Yeah.
Like, Bunker, they make a point to make him, like, overly flamboyant.
Yeah.
When most gay people, at least that I know of, they're not like that. Like, I have 2 managers at my job that are gay. And, you know, they're not like that at all. Like, one of them does the voice thing, you know, like the stereotypical, you know, gay guy voice thing. But they're not, like, overly flamboyant, you know, like Bunker is. And so I'm happy with Alan Scott, at least, you know, like, he is gay, but he's not like, pressing it across the reader's, face.
No, and while we're at it, another gay character at Marvel is Northstar, who actually got married a few.
Very true.
In the X-Men comic, right?
Yeah, but the first two gay characters who actually got married in comics was Midnighter and Apollo. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they were the first married gay couple. And then we also have Batwoman.
Batwoman.
Batwoman is both Jewish and she's a lesbian. So that's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, but Miles Morales, I've been keeping up with that. I even like those kind of comics more than the Peter stuff. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that actually brings up something interesting I want to talk about. You guys heard the news of possibly Andrew Garfield came out and said that he would like the idea of Miles Morales coming into the Spider-Man movies, right?
Yeah.
That would have to be a Marvel Studios thing, though, unless Avi Arad died.
I mean, I don't know why Avi Arad is saying no. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He is the only Spider-Man we're going to do. I don't understand that. I mean, it feels like they're shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, okay, here's my pitch for Spider-Man 4. He fights the Sinister Six. He fights Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, assuming we get him by that time. He dies pretty much the same way like he does in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. And in Spider-Man 5, you could bring in Miles Morales. I mean, that would be a good setup.
Or here's my pitch, TASM 2 tanks at the box office, and then he goes back home.
Yeah, I really want that. Nobody wants that to happen more than I do, but I'm so tired of rumors.
And then we get Miles in Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, see, I can see why they aren't doing Miles Morales, or thinking about it yet. Because from a business standpoint, there's so much you can milk out of Peter Parker, which is why I say it had to be a Marvel Studios thing, because by the time Sony gets rid of Spider-Man, they would have milked Peter Parker dry, and the only thing left to do would be, Miles Morales.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe after Miles, you could go to 2099 and bring out Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, Superior.
That'd be cool. But, it'd probably be the year 2099 by the time Marvel got the rights back to Spider-Man.
Exactly. I don't want to wait that long.
Speaking of that, though, do you guys remember when Beyonce was supposedly up for the role of Wonder Woman? Or she was campaigning for it or something?
When did that happen?
That was a while ago. I remember hearing about it. Because, if you look up online, there's photos of, Photoshop photos of Beyonce as Wonder Woman. Because people were, really entertaining the idea of it, just like people were entertaining, Donald Glover for Spider-Man, which obviously somewhat led up to Miles Morales' creation, thanks to Community. So technically, due to Community, we got Miles Morales. Because Brian Michael Bendis on Tumblr has posted about it. He said he was watching Community with his son, and it was an episode where, and this was during when the whole Donald Glover for Spider-Man thing happened, or was going on, so Community made a joke of it by having Donald Glover wake up from sleeping wearing a Spider-Man shirt. And, and then after that, Brian Michael Bendis, when he saw that, he was make a black Spider-Man. I guess after that, he decided, why not, or something like that. Something just, clicked in his mind to do it after seeing that. But that's pretty cool,
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost kind of like when Michael Jackson wanted to buy Spider-Man from Stan Lee.
I remember that. I'm happy that
you guys can remember that, because no, I would drop anything and all Spider-Man if that happened, because I can't handle a dancing pop star singing Spider-Man. I mean, we already got a musical on Broadway of that. I mean, no, just no.
Spider-Man does the moonwalk outside J. Jonah Jameson's window.
No.
No.
That was good, though. Spider-Man 3 is good.
Well, maybe the dancing in Spider-Man 3 would have been better then, but... Back to, minority superheroes in general. How do we, we've... See... I don't know where to go with this without coming off as racist. Because it's very sensitive, race and LGBT stuff. If you don't agree with it, automatically you hate LGBTs and you hate, that race. Which is one reason I hate talking about it, because it's such an interesting topic to talk about. And you could have such good discussions, but I hate talking about it because you have the people all the time. They're always going to be there. Like, this video probably has 10 dislikes right now already without even being uploaded. Because, you know, as soon as you say, like, oh, this character is this race, but, you know, something.
What about Spawn? Like, we never talked about Spawn.
He's white now.
No, but old Spawn.
Yeah, you're going to learn this when we finally upload the next comic book verses with Spawn. But in 2011, Al Simmons, he was African American, he kind of went evil and crazy, so he wasn't Spawn anymore. And this white guy named Jim Downing, Caucasian male, he used to be an angel actually, but I'm not gonna say anymore. You have to wait until comic book verses.
Okay.
But anyways, Caucasian male Jim Downing, he became the new Spawn.
Yeah, but Spawn's cool though.
Yeah.
But he's not cool because he's African American.
Yeah.
Are you saying he is?
No, I'm just saying he's a cool character. It's like it.
He is a cool character. Before he kind of went crazy. But
do you guys remember that time when Frank Castle, the Punisher, became a black guy? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I read about that somewhere.
Right?
It's a cosmetic, plastic surgery. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah,
I heard about that somewhere, but I thought it was just a rumor.
No. It's real.
Wow.
Everybody Google it. Black Punisher. Yeah, but as I was saying before, minorities don't necessarily have to be race. It can be anything from a handicap, religion, sexual preferences, or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be skin color.
Wow. Actually, you're right. Hey, was the comic Rest in Pieces?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Wow, that's really interesting. I did not know that.
So, who do you guys think is the most underrepresented minority in comics?
Ooh.
I will come out and say it now, Asian people. There are barely any Asian superheroes in comics, and I realized it when I was like, because when I was, making the image people are going to see on the screen here, I was looking for one Latino, one, African American, one, I guess Asian, and then, you guys will notice obviously when watching the video, but currently, right now, we have Cyborg there too. But I might substitute Cyborg out with Alan Scott due to the fact that, it was a great point made a few minutes ago that, technically, sexual orientation also, somewhat fits into the minority status.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I was trying to, put heroes on there that reflected, like, the broad spectrum of minorities.
Yeah.
And when I was looking for an Asian one, I even put on the Comic Book Cast Facebook page, asking,
There's Sunfire.
But there's not a lot of them. Like, Cassandra Cain was the biggest one I could think of.
Sunfire is an Asian character. He's a Japanese mutant with the power to control solar flares.
That's cool. There's Katana, too.
What about Gank, Ultimate Spider-Man?
But he's not really a superhero. He's more like...
He plays with Legos.
You say he plays with Legos? That's a superpower?
Yeah.
Yeah. But...
You wear me with my Legos.
Yeah. I don't really know who's an underrepresented minority. There's so many, really.
You guys have time to think about it. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
YouTube isn't going anywhere, I guess.
No.
Okay. Underrepresented.
I gotta say Muslims, actually. Because there's very few Muslim characters within comics.
Mm-hmm. Alright, hold up, we lost Zach.
We'll see on. If we're going that route, also, I guess you can make the argument that another underrepresented minority in comics is, minus redheads, male redhead superheroes. There's like only one left now, but I'd say if you're talking about religious-wise, Pastafarians.
Okay.
Does anybody know what that is?
Nope.
I don't understand what I'm saying. Alright, the flying spaghetti monster.
Oh, okay.
I was making a joke, but kind of lost its kick now.
Okay. Damn it.
Hopefully a viewer thought it was funny. Hopefully.
Not really.
See, did someone lose connection?
Yeah, Zach.
Yep.
I must say, like, where did Zach go?
They got him.
The snipers got him.
Yeah.
Alright, so... Wow. I'm not flustered, but I'm, like, brain farted right now. Because I want to say more, but then I don't want to say more, because I feel like if I say anything else right now, I'm gonna, like, participate too much.
Yeah.
So... You guys, keep it going.
I think we said pretty
back.
much all on this topic. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
We got it covered pretty much. I mean,
yeah, I mean, as we said, there's the minorities, maybe religious or sexual orientation or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be the color of your skin. It can be almost anything. I mean, look at Daredevil. Daredevil, first thing, he's a redhead. That makes him a minority. Second of all, he's blind, means he's handicapped, and there aren't a lot of handicapped superheroes out there, really.
Yeah.
Unless you count Agent Venom, Flash Thompson, then, because he's also...
That's a good point. Yeah, because most superheroes are like the opposite of handicapped, so that's a really good point you made.
Yeah. And... yeah, but sometimes it could be your geographical point of origin, like Nightcrawler is from Germany, Colossus is from Russia, or whatever, really.
Or Magneto. And
Magneto, yeah. Magneto is also a very good example, since he is Jewish and actually is a survivor of the Holocaust, so yeah, that makes him... even a bigger minority, since there are almost no survivors left.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys.
Alright, well I guess we kind of went as far as we could. If you're watching this and you didn't just dislike it and move on, thank you. The next discussion will be less what is the word? Spicy, less
controversial.
Yeah, less controversial. We'll be more
We're gonna be talking about Batman and Superman now.
I don't even remember. Hold on, I can tell you guys actually what we're probably gonna talk about. It is
boobies.
That will be a part of it, obviously. As always, the D. It will actually be about, is Superman too powerful?
Oh. Okay.
Is Superman too powerful?
Because, he's just an alien, but he does stuff like fight, quote-unquote, gods, and we're not going to talk about it now, but anyways, so that'll be the next one. Hopefully you guys will like it, and if you don't like it, too bad, because we're doing it anyways. So, yeah, this is Josh.
This is Oscar.
Nick signing off.
And CJ couldn't be here,
I'm
but
back.
he says bye. Oh my.
Oh.
Alright, we are saying our piece, so you can talk really briefly, I guess, or not briefly, just say what you want about minority superheroes, Who do you think, which minority do you think is the most underrepresented minority in comics?
Okay. I would say probably African American superheroes, because there aren't that many of them out there in the the movies right now. There's been a few, but not a lot. I personally would like to see more of them. Like, for example, I want to see Miles Morales on the big screen, and I want to see Black Panther too. And I think we're gonna get Black Panther at some point. I'm glad for that.
Or Jon Stewart.
Yeah, we're gonna get Jon Stewart too, assuming he's not being played by The Rock or I don't know who. But anyway, I think there should be more African American superheroes. That's my thought on it. And yeah.
There you have it.
There you go. So, adios, peoples, and, be good.
Or else.
Sayonara.